We're now going to show you a series of videos illustrating how to use a Clad Boy CB4 for long roof panels. And when we talk about long roof panels, we're talking about panel lengths above 14 meters. All of these configurations we'll show you include chain suspension sets, where the chain is included in the configuration that we send to site. And there's a number of different configurations, and we'll try to cover all those with these videos. When the machine arrives on site, it will be packaged into a transport cradle, as shown here. No matter what the configuration is, all of the components will be in this cradle. For the larger roof sets, there may be a second layer or a third layer of extension arms underneath the cradle. Please take careful note of how everything is packaged away in the cradle. When the project's finished and you've off-hired the machine, it's your responsibility to pack everything away exactly as it's delivered. That will avoid any additional transport costs or any damage due to transport of oversized items. So now we're going to assemble this machine into a configuration, and I'll explain as we go along. So as with all roof panel assemblies or configurations, you first of all start by putting the extension bars on the side of the machine. Any extension bar put onto the machine needs to be locked into position, and then the pin secured with an R-clip. For roof configurations, make sure that the suction hoses are on the side of the bar, not on top and bottom. And it's always a good idea with these long configurations for two people to assemble, one at each side, to keep the machine balanced. The assembly can take place actually in the cradle, where the machine is locked into the cradle. So far we've now got 3 extension bars on each side of the machine. We're going to put a fourth one on. And then at that point, in one of the plastic boxes on the cradle, you'll locate the chain suspension set. You need to take the 2 collars. One goes at each side of the machine. So the collar slides onto the 4th bar, to the second hole from the end, locked, pinned, and secured into position. And then the roof crossarm finally goes on the end of that. Now this places the suction pads. It's difficult to get the whole thing in frame here, but this places the suction pads approximately 8 meters apart. And the final thing to go onto the machine is the chain suspension set. On this configuration, it's a 3-leg chain. Now it's important that you only use the chain suspension set that we supply with the kit. Do not allow crane operators to use their own chain sets. These chain sets have got lengths that are calibrated exactly as required. If you use different sort of chains, you may put undue stress on the actual machine that could cause damage to the machine or the panel. So obviously the chain hooks onto the crane hook. We're using our forklift for this application because our overhead crane doesn't go high enough. And this chain set has got 3 legs, 1 short leg and 2 long legs. Just untangling at the moment. And the short leg hooks directly to the top of the Clad Boy. And the 2 long legs hook at each end of the extension arm configuration. Down a little bit more. Obviously the hook from the back, so the hook jaw is facing away. Neil's showing you that. And the same the other side of the machine. And the final thing to go on the end of the machine is the actual safety straps, which will locate in the ends of the cross arms here. When inserting the safety straps, the release pin needs to be on the top. And lock the safety straps in with the pins and the R-clips. Now finally, you need to connect all the suction hoses in together. Now the suction hoses are clipped together, they're on quick release couplings. To release them, just squeeze them together, pull the collar and pull them apart. Now, as I mentioned, this particular configuration places the suction pads approximately 8 meters apart, and this is the configuration you use for panels up to 16 meters long, normal foam cores and normal thicknesses. The hoses are connected together all the way along the extension arms, on both sides of the extension arms. And finally, clicked onto the machine. The machine will have blanking plugs, as Neil's showing. Remove those first, and then connect the hoses to the vacuum outlets on the machine. So now you've got the machine fully assembled in its cradle, the extension arms all in position, locked and pinned, the hoses connected all the way along from the machine down to the suction pads, and the safety straps on each end. Now this is a configuration for up to 16 meters. If required, we may send you an additional extension bar, which we have on this kit here. This extension bar will locate on the end of the machine and into here, with moving this cross arm another 800 or 900 mil further away, which will give you a pad spread of 9,800 millimeters. But the chain will still locate in the same position, which is on the 4th extension arm, but you may well have the pads further beyond that point. And again, if we send the equipment to site, everything we send should be used. If you use an inappropriate configuration, there may well be damage to the machine or the panel. And it's inherent that it's important that you tell us the correct panel details so that we can send you the correct components to do the configuration. So I'm going to stop this video now and we'll then restart and talk through some details of the actual machine.